Hello and welcome to a somewhat daily backup for Wednesday, the 9th of September 2020. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I am joined by Stephanie, Lady Lappend Ben Dixon. Steph, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I am also great. I'm in the studio today, as you can tell. And, no Gus, says Paxolian Reaver. He's here. He's just sitting over there working like an editor. Gus, say hi. There you go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Tom Harmothy. Good morning, Liz Dahlia. Good morning, Syntax Errors. Good morning, Sweephead. Good morning, Skiverick. I'll one day figure out how to say your name. Good morning, Champants. And good morning, Travesty James, Blinky, and Cinnamon Buns. How is everybody doing? Steph, is it raining up in your mountains?
Yeah, it's super rainy, which I'm glad because I did lots of gardening and I planted lots of new little things. So I'm excited that getting a drink.
Are you growing vegetables and fruits, or is this herbs? Is this succulents?
Vegetables and herbs. I would love to grow fruits, but I don't know that we have the space for like an orchard.
Yeah, right. You could just do one of every tree, right? You don't need 10 apple trees. You could just have like one.
Yeah, I mean, but we have a yard, but it's not like a huge yard, so I don't think we have a lot of ample space for tree planting. We have some lawn for Scardy to run around on, and then we have some little garden beds we're planting like zucchini and stuff.
There you go. Chaotic Owl says, Nick Boy, guest room honestly feels nicer for this segment. You hear that, boys? This was $90,000 wasted. So we should just pack this up and send everything off. We are back for more news. Now, I was a little worried when I was prepping the news that there wasn't enough to talk about. And then, thank God, finally, Xbox come out, and Xbox didn't even come out, Steph. It was someone else came out and gave us some news to talk about on the Somewhat Daily Backup. But the person who lets us talk about the Somewhat Daily Backup is the hero Pocketeer, Tim. Thank you very much to Tim from the Learn Programming Academy, who is part of making all of this possible. The Backup is brought to you by Tim and the Learn Programming Academy. He's taught close to 1 million students. 1 million people, which is, how many people are in Australia? Is it 14 million?
I have no idea. I would just choose an arbitrary number and think it sounds right. You could say that there's 4 million. You could say that there's 4 million people in Australia, and I'd be like, sure.
Yeah, right. It's 25 million. So he's taught 1/25 million of the country, which, when you put it that way, I guess sounds really impressive, and then less impressive than probably what he was hoping for. But 1 million people is a lot of people to teach, and the reason that he managed to teach 1 million of them is because it's all video. All of his courses are that easy to digest. You just need to click on a video and watch it. All the details are in there. You don't need to read anything complex. You don't need to go through a bunch of PDF chart things and muddle your way. You could just copy what he does, and it turns out fantastic. So if you want to become a programmer at any skill level, for less than $20 for most of these courses, then you just need to head to the Learn Programming Academy. Give us a little exclamation mark Tim in the chat to get all the details about how to become a gun programmer like Tim. All right, Steph, let's jump into the news. The Xbox.
Before we do that, could you just ask Peter to please, I've been sending him messages and I just can't see anything on the screen. So I didn't realize we were going live when we did, and then it just started.
That's fine. I'm getting a nod of a head. I'm seeing a bouffant of hair over 3 monitors is just gently swaying back and forth. So I think you should have images in a moment.
Oh, great. Awesome.
The Xbox Series S was leaked last night or yesterday, depending on where you are, and then confirmed by Microsoft. Finally, Stephanie, the Lockhart console, which everyone knew about, has been confirmed. Microsoft confirmed the existence, price, and release date for the smaller, cheaper version of the Series X. The console will launch on the 10th of November for $299 US. Following the leak, Microsoft confirmed the price of the Series S in a tweet published early Tuesday morning. Quote, "Let's make it official." Microsoft tweeted from the Xbox Twitter account alongside a photo of the console. It said that more information is coming soon, and then a trailer for the Series S was published later on Tuesday, and we did get more details. Steph, what do you think of this thing?
Well, I mean, to me, it looks like a slightly shittier version of the Xbox One X. I mean, it looks the same, but with a weird thing on the side of it that I'm guessing is a fan, but looks like a speaker. I mean, people have likened this to a shitty Bluetooth speaker from Kogan.
Interesting.
People have said they want to drive up to it and shout their order for fries and a large drink into it. So, I think I'm not like wildly excited about it. I'm happy that it's smaller than the Series X proper, but, I don't think as a design it gets me that excited.
That's so I would have thought you'd love this. I love this. I think this is the coolest console I've ever seen.
But what do you like about it? Because it doesn't look any different to the previous one except for that large... Are you just like wild about that big black thing on it?
I think I am. I think part of me is actually wild for that big black thing on it. I like the white. I think is really cool. I think that looks really clean. I like the bold white fan shaped thing. I like that it's kind of reminiscent of a disk drive. I think the thing that I like the most about it is that I've seen lots of people sort of talk about the fact that it looks like a disc in a diskless thing, whatever. But I like the fact that this looks like something that could sit in my living room and blend in with the rest of the things that I have. It looks like a piece of audio-visual equipment as opposed to a black monolith or the PS5, which is going for a very specific, like, we have hyper-stylized this thing. This looks like like you said, like a cool Bluetooth speaker or something. I'm so digging this. I was convinced that as soon as I went online, I would just be seeing people go, yeah, I love it. And then everyone I saw was just like, oh. Maybe, am I wrong? Well, what's the temperature in the room? Do you guys like
I don't think it looks ugly. I think it looks miles better than the PS5. Like, I still think the PS5 looks like something out of Battlestar Galactica, which is like a 10-year-old sci-fi show. But, I just don't, I don't know. It doesn't excite me like in any kind of crazy way. I'm happy that it's small and largely unobtrusive to look at.
It is surprisingly small, 60% smaller as you see in that trailer there, and it is not necessarily lacking in a huge amount that the Xbox Series X has. The biggest thing that it doesn't have, or the two biggest things, the Series X has many more teraflops, and the Series X has a much bigger hard drive. And I think that the hard drive is probably the more the bigger impediment, I suppose, in getting this one, because this one comes with a 512 gig SSD hard drive, which, when you look at games these days, that's like you put 2 Call of Duties on this and then suddenly your hard drive space is filled up. And so that's probably going to be the biggest issue with this. But it's got your DirectX ray tracing, it's got 1440p at 120 frames per second, it does 4K streaming and 4K upscaling. It's going to be, some of the stuff that I've read, it should be as fast as the Xbox Series X in terms of the loading, which is the thing that they're really touting as being the next genness. So for $299 US, and the word is that $500 US will be the Series X, this is like not that much weaker to get you into the next gen.
And to have it take up like far less space. I think the storage on it is probably going to be the major issue, because I hate having to do that thing of like going through all your games and uninstalling the stuff that deep down you're probably not going to come back to, but you still just want to know that you can.
Yeah. What is that? What is that? I'm exactly the same, and I'm like, I know.
There's a word for that, isn't there?
It's the opposite of Marie Kondo. That's what that is. It's like, I think these things spark joy, but actually they spark responsibility and obligation. But for some reason, I can't delete Persona 5 off my hard drive, even though I'm like, I think the reason is that sometimes I delete these things and then I think my brain goes, because it's no longer accessible to me, the next day I'm like, I really want to play Persona 5, and now it's gone. As humans, we're just broken. So are you thinking about getting this one over the Series X? Does this compel you enough, despite the fact that you're not crazy about how it looks?
I'm not sure. I think when I'm presented with two options and there's like a more powerful option, and I know that I'm going to have it for a long period of time, I feel like I want to future-proof myself and just get the most powerful, biggest storage, epic version, so that I'm not forced to buy, like, I don't know, some kind of upgrade to it later on. But then part of me is like, maybe I should get the cheaper one because they're just going to release some new smaller version of the One X, but just as powerful.
Yep.
The Series X, but just as powerful. Oh my gosh,
Yep.
the name is so bad.
Yeah, it's terrible. I honestly don't know. In fact, all of the marketing for this has just been very weird, but the S and X is it's a disaster.
I think I'll get the Series X. I think I want the power and the storage and all the bells and whistles.
I think you make a good point about your bells and whistles and the idea that you probably feel like you're missing out on something. Like if I'm running Halo, which is like literally the only game that Microsoft have. That's not even coming out. If you're running that and you're running it on this thing, it'll look good, but you'll be like, I don't know what I'm missing, but I know I'm missing something. Like, there are textures somewhere here that aren't as crisp as they could be. But on the flip side of that, the fact that they've got Game Pass, the fact that I play all this stuff on my PC, I just bought a new PC and it's huge. And so this could be for me something that I just keep upstairs attached to the television, and it's like, oh, if I'm not playing a PC game downstairs, then I can just go up and play something on the TV that doesn't need to be the most powerful thing, but it's small, it's unobtrusive, it's kind of like, I like how it looks, so I can kind of put it out a little more on display than I normally would. And also, it looks small enough that it is the kind of thing you could toss in a bag and take with you somewhere.
That's true.
Because it's smaller and cheaper than the Xbox. I believe it's smaller, but it's definitely cheaper than the Xbox One X was before they did the price drop. So getting into the next gen is cheaper than buying into the current gen before they just dropped the prices because next gen was coming.
Yeah, it's wild.
But the other thing about this as well is that I think that the prices $2.99 in the States means it's probably $3.99 here. I've seen some reports of maybe $3.49, which is a pretty compelling price point. And then you tie in the fact that it comes with a month of Game Pass, but you get Game Pass kind of straight away for $10 or whatever. That you instantly get access to the next gen for $350. That's incredibly cheap, and then does force Sony's hand to come out A, with a price soon, and B, like, where do you think their price is going to head in terms of their console?
So true, isn't it? It's so funny because I feel like all the conversation over the last few months has been like, do I even need to buy an Xbox console? Like when I can just use my PC? And now they're like, $350. I may as well.
Yes, that's literally the reason that I would buy this. Is like, oh, I could buy a couple and put them on all the TVs in my house. I could buy just a bedroom Xbox Series One S because I go, oh well, $350. Like, I know this sounds whatever, but like that's not bank breaking. And yeah, it is.
When it comes to technology that does what it does, for sure. Yeah.
Totally. But then,
toilet Xbox, here we come.
Toilet Xbox, that's what I'm talking about. And it loads so fast and you can suspend multiple games at once. So you're not even wasting, like, you pull down the pants, you hit a button and you're in. There's no, like, you don't need to boot up. You are just ready to go. Like, this is, you could get, like, this is a toilet Xbox is definitely going to be a thing. What do you reckon Sony are going to do? Do you reckon that this kind of announcement forces their hand on price, or are they just going, we are the premium console, we want to emphasize, like, they've been talking a lot about value as opposed to price?
I don't think they will adjust their price. I think they have their, like, main version and then the discless version, and that's all they're releasing now. But I think they will go ahead and release a skinny version down the track, as the other consoles have done up until this point.
Skinny, but as powerful?
Yeah. Like,
so
you know how, like,
PS.
Yeah, a few years in, they're like, oh, hey, we found actually a miracle way to make all of this smaller.
Yeah.
So the big hulking thing you bought day one when it was released is now obsolete because we have this, like, cuter, smaller version that's just as good.
Yeah. I'm keen to see what PlayStation do, because in theory, PlayStation can come out and, like, Xbox still haven't confirmed the price of the Series 1X, which the rumor is that it's going to be $500, and I assume launches on the same day, because November 10th is, like, I don't know, I don't know why you would launch later with the more powerful one. And so if Sony come out with their price point, then Microsoft have a chance to respond there. I don't know. This kind of forces Sony hand into an interesting position, because at this point, I'm suddenly like, oh, Xbox is that console is a very compelling thing for me. And you add on to the fact that that the only part that I'm confused about this really is I don't know what Microsoft's plan for this was, because the Lockhart, like, how many months have we been hearing about this secret console that is the worst kept secret in gaming? And it's 2 months away, and they only confirmed it tonight because of a leak. Like, when were they going to tell people about this thing that is easily the best reason to buy their into their next gen now?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like everyone's marketing plan has been thrown by COVID, though, and people just don't know what to do. People are second guessing when is the right time to reveal things, whether they should just hold off. Like, you know, some people are going with the film industry straight to streaming, and other people are like, we're not going to release it until like mid next year because we want the maximum possible return on this. So yeah, I think everyone is just trying to predict the unpredictable.
Yeah. Pete said that people are saying that it was a leak, but it was a planned leak. But I had heard the opposite. I'd read some stuff this morning where some journos had contacted Microsoft, and Microsoft were like, no, we didn't expect this.
Isn't it weird how in our industry the idea of a planned leak is like super common?
Yeah.
Like the idea that that people are getting access to like hacked information is so exciting. It generates more buzz than if they would just straight up announce it.
Totally. Yeah. That is interesting. It seems
like there's no other industry really that's a thing in, you know, but people just love the idea that someone's just like hacked into the mainframe and pulled some pictures of something and be like, oh my gosh, I've got like secret classified information on what this is going to look like, or the amount of teraflops.
That's true. It happens, I guess, with phones, but no one ever speculates that it was a planned leak by Apple to like the Chinese case manufacturers. Like, so yeah, there is a weird conspiracy all the time that like maybe they're trying to play us, and yeah, it's, I don't know. We're paranoid.
That's a good point.
Group of people.
Rock Wallaby says, is there a planned back pocket leak coming? And I think there should be. I think we should plan some leaks to just, you know, up our cred.
I wish we were important enough to be given leakable information. We're given information 3 days after it's published. This is ridiculous.
We can just leak some images of your toilet Xbox as soon as you get it.
Legit. So I have this is a diversion. I have a Bluetooth speaker in my in the downstairs bathroom, so that when Banjo and I, like, if we have a shower or something, we can put on some tunes, or if I'm in there by myself, I can listen to a podcast or something. There is a world where I mount a small waterproof television in that shower, and I get some Saran like Glad wrap wrapped around a controller.
That's true, because this is a diversion, but I am a big fan of shower sitting.
What?
Like sitting in the shower?
No, I understood what it was. What?
I've spoken to other people who do it. Yeah, it's super common. I just like to sit in there.
Yeah, it's filthy.
No, it's just Peter and I that use it, and it's the shower. And like, yeah, I just like to like sit down, think about life. It's like sitting under a waterfall. It's nice.
Midho Hippo says, my wife sits in the shower. The Deluxe says, have a bath. Loki Cat says, do you take a chair with you? JMO Stream says, I have sat before. Skiverick says, sit on what? Flaywood says, like on a chair. So are you...
No, see, I find a chair weird. I don't know why. I wouldn't want to sit on a chair in a shower. If I go to a hotel and it has the little shelf, I don't want to sit there.
So are you angling shower head onto you, and are you leaning up against a wall, or are you sitting sort of like meditation style in the middle of the shower?
I usually sit meditation style, but like with my back against the wall. And here, another part of it is like the top of you gets the full like force and heat of the water, right? But then by the time the water reaches the bottom of you, it's like lukewarm at best.
Which is weird.
And I don't like that temperature disparity. Whereas if I fold myself into a more compact shape,
like an Xbox Series S.
Like an Xbox Series S, then I sit on the floor of the shower, I crank the temperature so it's like scalding, and then it reaches me at the perfect temperature at the bottom, and I'm more evenly covered in water, and my core body temperature is more like, is at an equilibrium.
That's very interesting, because it is weird how quickly water cools from out of the shower head to hitting the ground. I realized that Banjo, like when Banjo and I have a shower together, he has a shower that is like 10 degrees cooler than I do, and we have the same shower. It's like it literally just by the time it falls through the air. My last question on this is, are you preheating the wall with the shower so that when you sit against the tiles, it's not freezing cold? Or are you?
Yes. I don't typically do it straight away because it is too cold against the tile wall. But this would lend itself perfectly to shower gaming, is what I'm saying. Because as a person who sits in the shower, I could totally just play some Xbox.
What a beautiful way to bring it back on track. All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. I saw some real positivity for the design in this. When you're honestly the first group of people I've seen who think it looks cool. Pete loves it, and Gus didn't answer me. All right, let's move on now to another. What did he say?
He didn't say anything, but I just wanted to point out that there is potentially a leak, a back pocket leak that you.
Oh yeah, I may have already leaked something. Pete is reminding me.
Yeah.
Is it this?
Yeah, it is that.
Yeah. That.
But we'll talk about it later.
I don't know if you can spot it. All right. From something that was leaked to something that was announced, Hyrule Warriors, a new Legend of Zelda game set in the Breath of the Wild timeline, was announced. Nintendo revealed the title, which will launch on Switch later this year, November 20th to be exact. The game, which is being developed by Koei Tecmo, looks to be a successor of sorts to the original Hyrule Warriors from 2014. That game combined the massive battles of Dynasty Warriors with the lore and history of Zelda. The new game is set 100 years before Breath of the Wild, where players can experience the great calamity that influenced the events of Breath of the Wild. And Steph, is this your kind of Zelda game?
I'm not sure that it is, but I love that it exists for people who just really want to delve deep into the lore of Legend of Zelda. And I love that the art style is that beautiful kind of cel-shaded thing. I think it just looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm happy that it exists for Zelda fans, but I don't think that it's like necessarily going to be my game.
So I was totally on your side because Dynasty Warriors is a series that has never interested me really, and it's just never something that drew me in. The original Hyrule Warriors for the same reason, and I went into this trailer going, I'm not going to enjoy this, and then I finished the trailer by going, I need this game, and I think a lot of it is the art style. I think being back in that world is so beautiful, but I love the way that this, and this could be something from Dynasty Warriors and I just don't know, but I love the way that it's using the systems of Zelda, the bombs and the freezing and that sort of thing. It's not just swing a big sword and hit 100 enemies at once. It seems to be a real, use all the tools at your disposal to make your way through the combat. But the art, man, is just so gorgeous and so exciting.
Stunning. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I don't know much about how the Zelda timeline works. This is 100 years before the Breath of the... Why is everyone the same age? Why does no one age? What's going on? Do you have information?
Yeah, that confuses me. Were people frozen in time?
Did Zelda start and he was...
No one ages in Zelda.
No one ages in Zelda?
It's a new Link.
And
Link is in stasis. Zelda and Link were frozen. Link was asleep for 100 years.
Okay.
Everyone is dead in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, wow. Link was frozen for 100 years. Link was dead and resurrected. Okay, cool. But yeah, this is very exciting, and also a real, because they've kind of gone dark on the idea of the sequel. They haven't mentioned too much after confirming it, and then this to come out in 2 months is another big win for the Switch, I feel like.
Yeah, especially since when the Switch launched, people were like, there's just not enough games for the console. And they were just like, give us time.
Totally.
We have a lot of things in the pipeline, and now they're just like vomiting it all onto us. And we're just like, yes, in the vomit.
Yeah, it's like I'm sitting on a shower floor and I'm just like vomit Hyrule Warriors over me. Maybe the reason I've never liked Hyrule Warriors is I find it's very difficult to say. Hyrule Warriors. I can't wrap the mouth around it.
Yeah.
Something I'd like to wrap my mouth around, Crash Bandicoot 4 it's about time. We got some more gameplay and a look at the playable character of Torna. And Activision released a trailer for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time, showing off Torna gameplay. She's one of the playable characters, joins the fray from an alternate dimension, and comes with a unique playstyle and a new look. There are 3 new playable characters in Crash that each have a distinct moveset, and Torna is equipped with a versatile hookshot ability that allows her to quickly traverse levels and attack enemies and break crates from afar. She also has a devastating ground pound, spin kicks, and she's the only character that can wall jump. Steph, you don't have...
Shut...
What?
What?
Her.
She looks cool. I feel like she looks like a cool, spunky Crash Bandicoot lady who like is well versed in the treacheries of this world and is going to traverse them in a completely like different way. So I like that she exists. She seems cool and punky. I'm not like, I don't have a huge amount of nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot, but I feel like she's a great addition to the franchise. I'm
weirded out by the fact that she's kind of like more human than they are. Like, this is not any kind of objectification, but she clearly comes from a universe where asses exist and the other 2 don't. Like, they just have a waist that goes down to pants, and she's just like, badunk.
I know. It's that difference between like designing male and female characters, isn't it? Like, whenever you design a female character, people have to be like somewhat understanding that she looks like a human woman, or it's like, that's not a girl.
It's just, she's very big. Like, height-wise, she's twice as tall as the other Bandicoots. They said that they kind of want her to play a bit more like an action hero. But my question with this is, I don't know how I feel about this game, because on one hand, I really love Crash Bandicoot, but I feel like a lot about the things that I liked about Crash Bandicoot were because of the limitations at the time and the way that they sort of iterated within those limitations. And looking at this, I'm like, yeah, this looks cool, and there are fun elements to what's going on, but I wonder if it needs if Crash... I don't know, does Crash need the Breath of the Wild style? Like, we've totally reinvented the way in which this game plays? Because this is still core Crash.
I think it depends on which audience they're trying to reach. Because for me, I don't have a huge amount of interest in this because I don't have Crash Bandicoot nostalgia. But I feel like the core audience you go with for these kinds of games are people who are chasing that kind of memory of youth. And if you change the game too much, then you lose a lot of that. And then you're trying to kind of capture a new audience, I think. So I think this is probably the right way to go for now. And if this game is wildly successful and people who never played Crash before pick it up and decide that they want to keep playing it, then maybe you could do an iteration of it that is a complete reboot in terms of style and gameplay and everything.
Yeah.
But right now, I think for Crash, it's important that they try to capture the nostalgia element for people so that they feel like they're getting an experience that is just a better version of what they played as a kid.
Yeah, right. I think that I have a feeling when I watch this kind of gameplay that I go, I know how this level is going to play out. Like, I know that I can do this. Is that the right way to explain this? That it's like, I just need to get to this platform and move on. It's not like a puzzle solving thing. It's just like, oh, I just need to do it and get it done. And so
sure, yeah.
And so it often, when I play these kinds of games, I don't necessarily feel like I've accomplished something. I've kind of just like stuck at it until I timed it right. But I think this this level change stuff, like those sort of like alternate dimension levels, I think is a cool twist that maybe this is where I spend my time.
This is kind of a cool, like, epic Mickey de Blob mechanic with the paint as well. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, like I love the idea that they're remixing all the levels and that I don't know if each level has its own different alternate dimension take on it, like this paint thing, or if you can apply all those alternate dimensions to any level. But it's a cool thing that I haven't really seen done in games before. So but maybe I'll enjoy playing as her because she plays a bit more like a traditional platformy action hero character. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think people who've kind of enjoyed going back to the Donkey Kong games and things like that would totally enjoy this for the same reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep. All right, we'll see more about Crash very soon. What we won't be seeing is microtransactions in Cyberpunk single player. CD Projekt Red moved to clarify the nature of microtransactions in Cyberpunk because there has been some confusion, insisting they are planned for the multiplayer game only. CD Projekt Red boss Adam Kinitsky said in a recent financial earnings call, which is where all news gets released, that the company is looking for ways to encourage Cyberpunk players to spend money without upsetting them. We are never aggressive towards our fans. We treat them with fair and friendly. So of course not, we won't be aggressive, but you can expect great things to be bought. The goal is to design monetization in a way that makes people happy to spend money. And no, I'm not cynical. I'm not trying to hide something. It's always about giving the feeling of value, always. We don't know too much about the multiplayer stuff of Cyberpunk.
No, but I think what's interesting is that, like, I mean, my biggest, gripe with this game, and it's not really even a gripe, it's just that it's a beautiful open world RPG that is in first person perspective, meaning I won't get to see myself and all the cool pieces of Cyberpunk gear that I get to pick up.
Yeah.
Apparently you'll see yourself a lot in cutscenes and things like that, but still, in a game like this, I'd much rather see myself and how cool I look all the time so I can see myself in the environment. So if microtransactions are planned for multiplayer, and the multiplayer will likely be in first person also, I find it interesting that they're expecting us to spend money on cosmetics that we won't get to see. It's just the knowledge that other people that you're playing against will get to see it, I guess. And there's skins and stuff for first person shooters and stuff that I get are, when you see skins on your gun and stuff like that. But if it's full microtransactions for outfits, I will be far less inclined to spend money on stuff if I don't get to see it myself.
What about like skins for guns and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
But then that kind of like limits your options, I guess, for microtransactions. I guess they're going to go hard on gun skins if that's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, that is the thing that we don't really know what it is, because the multiplayer is not coming out with the main game. It's coming out in 2021. They have said several... Peter Burns. 2022?
Yeah, the multiplayer is separate release 2022.
Oh, I had... Oh, on Twitter 2022? That's even worse. That's a whole year later. Yeah, I know. So, because they'd said that it would be a separate AAA release. They called it a separate project. And then it's potentially a standalone game. So maybe it's more along the lines of like Warzone with COD, where you go, it's kind of like attached to, like, it's attached to the universe, but it's its own thing, which they clearly haven't been talking about, because if it's not coming out with the main game, then they don't need to focus on it. But that is it sounds like a massively ambitious project to be putting out alongside a single-player RPG. Is this the multiplayer sort of world that you want to dive into? I know you Sea of Thieves it a lot, but is this the kind of thing that
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really great at first-person shooters, and I can kind of get around that in single player because I can play at my own pace, and I'm against NPCs and that kind of thing, so it's fine. But in a multiplayer setting, I feel like I competitive shooters, I don't do so well. So I'm not sure that I'll spend heaps of time in the multiplayer in this. If it is just like standard multiplayer, like shooter multiplayer fare. If there's some kind of co-op stuff if there's some kind of cool co-op stuff that you can do, absolutely, I'll get on board. Like that would be awesome.
I think you're probably more on the money with the second one. I can't imagine they're doing like team deathmatch and that kind of thing with this. I think you would just put it out with the main game. That's that's difficult, but it's not huge. I think they're going much more like GTA Online, a more successful version of Red Dead Online, where you basically have the game becomes a living, breathing games as service style thing where you do co-op heists and that sort of stuff, and there might be some element of like fighting other people, but it's more about playing online with other people than playing online against other people.
I would be 100% down for that. If that's the direction that they go, then yes, absolutely.
Like they could totally pivot into an MMO almost. They could make it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially like when you spend so much time in a world like playing single player, particularly if they're releasing the multiplayer a year after that, suddenly to be able to share that world with friends is super exciting. So yeah, that'd be great. If that's what they do.
I like that idea of going, you've spent a bunch of time playing this game, you know how it feels, you know how it plays, and then we now open you up to being able to take all those skills and enter a new space, as opposed to something like COD, for example, where you play the single player, but the single player does not prepare you for the multiplayer. The multiplayer is a hellscape, and the single player is like an 8-hour romp. And so, but I think that's a great way of putting it. It's like we've now opened this game up so that you can start sharing it with other people, and that's how they do potentially expansions, because they've said that they're going to be doing sort of like Witcher-style content drops and that kind of thing. If it's potentially all being dropped in this like online persistent thing, I don't know, maybe there's something there. GTA Online Star would be incredible, says Qthos. And Grumpy Gamer says, I really think with these kinds of games, you don't need multiplayer on release. You need to be able to experience the game before sharing it with others. So, yes.
I think that's a fair point. Yeah, totally. Especially if it's a bit like Ghost of Tsushima. Like, I mean, obviously the multiplayer is launching a lot sooner, but it'll hit just at the right time, I think, for people to have finished the main game and maybe just be thinking about putting it down and moving on. And then all of a sudden there's these multiplayer missions that you can do with friends, and that kind of reinvigorates the whole experience for you.
Yeah.
A year is a long time, but I guess they're banking on people wanting to play through all of the different, sort of starting narratives and stuff, and really milking every experience from this game possible before you sink yourself into the multiplayer.
And they could potentially be doing a couple of DLC expansion style drops next year to sort of, we give you 6 months to finish the game, and then you got your first sort of meaty expansion, sort of, what was the Witcher ones? The Blood and Wine, is that the vampire one?
And Hearts of Stone, yeah.
Yeah, so you put one of those out and a couple of like little updates that then, get you back in the game long enough so that when the multiplayer arrives the next year, then then you sort of, all the muscle memory is there and you're excited for it. But so no microtransactions in the single player, but the multiplayer, you'll be paying through the nose for things that you don't really see that much. And something that you can see now, Crusader Kings 3 out in Australia after all the classification problems. But nobody knows what it was that actually happened. Paradox Interactive's medieval strategy game launched on September 2nd. It didn't come out in Australia because the classification board outright refused it a rating, effectively banning it. No one's really sure what went wrong, but it all seems to be resolved now, and it's been given an MA 15+ rating.
I feel like this was just like an admin error. Because if Cyberpunk, which it has genital customization and like wild decapitations with like blood spray everywhere, that got a rating.
Yeah.
So I can't see Crusader Kings, being wildly controversial in the shadow of that. So I think this was just some kind of clerical error and a huge misunderstanding.
Yeah, the fact that they haven't, because all the time, I mean, we are just the poster child for games having struggles come out here, but every time it's like, the interpretation of this health kit is that it's not a health stim, it's actually speed, and you inject yourself with speed, and we can't let kids inject themselves with speed, but they, like you said, they haven't come out and said anything about this, so that could be it. But I am very excited that it is out because more people get to experience this game. Please experience this game. It's so much fun. I mean, maybe the reason it was banned is that, I plotted the murder of people because I wanted to marry a second woman, and like the story that I told on Back Pocket last week, that's some R+ rated shit, Steph.
It could be. Maybe whoever was playing this game for the purposes of classification had a similar experience where they got involved in some heavy incest or something like that.
Totally.
Or some, I don't know, poppy dust.
Absolutely.
Narcotics or something, and we're like, this game is too racy for Australia.
Australia can handle heavy incest. I've been saying it for years. We got this. No one clip this. But yeah, so you can get it now. It's available in all the normal places. It's on Game Pass. Please play it because it's just so much fun. Are you going to play it, Steph? I said that this is your kind of game. I feel like you're just going to nod.
I will absolutely play it. I will definitely play it. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get you a shower PC so you can really settle. And then
everyone should try it. It's great.
I think that maybe it's just I've been taught one way and it never occurred to me to sit down in a shower. Maybe that's it.
I also feel like you You have very long limbs, so I feel
true.
like it would be a decidedly more complicated affair for you to sit in the shower than it would be for me.
That's true. I think as well, really considering it, and I think it's important we spend another 15 minutes talking about this, that the bath is the sit-down shower. Like,
No,
that's
you're
the
sitting
bath.
Then you're sitting in a pool of water. That's not sitting under a lovely waterfall. It's a very different experience. Don't compare the two.
Okay, that's a very good point, because when I go to waterfalls, I will often sit or lie underneath the spray. But why have I not thought of doing that in a shower? There's a lot. I'm going to go home and test this out. I'll let everybody know tomorrow night on Back Pocket how the sit-down shower went tonight. In fact, we've got a shower here. I could do it after the show. Guys, do you want to have a shower with me, or we could just test it out? Pete says yes. Gus said hell yes.
No, I wouldn't sit in that shower.
No, that shower.
No.
That shower is...
Do not sit in that shower.
In fact, don't even look at that shower, because you might catch something. The final thing that we want to talk about today, I found a trailer for this game, and Steph, I felt like this could be up your alley as just a soothing wind down, end of the night kind of thing. It's called Unpacking.
I'm excited to see what this is.
And the whole purpose of this game is developed by Witchbeam, that you unpack boxes after you've just moved house and you just place things neatly in a room. And so
I love this.
You can hang up your clothes, or you can fold your clothes and put them on a shelf. You can choose where everything goes. The boxes just disappear, so you don't even need to...
Oh my God, the boxes just disappear.
Yeah.
Imagine.
But I just love this kind of like simple, this is the whole game. Like, but toothbrush in the cup, or do you want it on the side of the sink? This is...
Yeah.
Yeah, Genocide says, does it spark joy? For me, this totally sparks joy.
Yeah, this is amazing. This is like... It's my favorite thing packing is so annoying, but unpacking is so fun because you get to choose where everything goes to the first time.
Yeah.
And it's like this is a clean slate and what will set me up for the efficiency of my household tasks in the future.
Absolutely.
How I organize and structure this room.
And the fact that...
Oh, look at that.
Like, it seems to be incredibly... Everything you think you could do, you can. To the point that
it's also just like... The animations and sounds look really satisfying as well. Just the little clicks and the little bleeps and bloops and things as you kind of do things, and the sound effects of the cupboard door shutting and stuff like that. All that stuff sounds really nice.
Because the
like
thing,
ASMR.
Totally. Because the thing that always annoys me in The Sims is that I find that the grid that you can place things on is the squares are very big. So it's like it can go here or it can go here, but it can't go here. And whereas this seems to be like the placement grid is tiny, so everything can be minutely adjusted.
They know that that'll be important for people.
Yeah, there are
I like
just
that.
a bunch of nerds who are so excited. You can set the time on the microwave. Chat is very excited about. Oh my God, you can set the time on the microwave. See, this is what like you can order the books in. Yeah. Anyway, this is just a cute little thing that I was just like, hell yeah, I'm into this, and maybe...
Book organization is quite a contentious topic for a lot of people. Every time I've posted a picture of my shelves, people are like, there is a large proportion of people that find it very frustrating when people organize books by color.
Yep.
Some people like to do it alphabetically.
How are you ordering yours right now?
I have a very interesting system where I organize my books by favoritism. So I like all my favorite, most loved books at eye level, and then like loftier, like classics and stuff go above, like in heaven.
Yep.
And then all the trash goes at your feet.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then do you do hardbacks in one section, paperbacks in another? Height, is it like higgledy-piggledy and your only real organization is the favoritism thing, or are you going like height?
I tend to put height on the edges and then like smaller towards the middle. I don't worry too much about hardback and sort of paperback too much. I just put, obviously series together and things like that.
I am generally the same. I like the favoritism idea. I think that's good. My shelves, I've got, because we've got several sets of bookshelves scattered across the house, but I've got the one that you actually see in the background of my room, or the spare room where I do the show, is the top shelf is unread. So I make sure that the top shelf is always full, and so I always have something that I can read. So I know, and it used to just be a pile. It used to literally be a pile that sat next to my computer, but the pile became very unwieldy, and at one point the pile fell on a small child. And it was like, at this point, the pile must go. And so top shelf is unread, and then once I've read that, then it gets removed, put somewhere else, and then a new book is immediately purchased to take its place. And then the rest of it is higgledy-piggledy. There's no order, except for, of course, series need to be together, but that's it. I like it to feel like it's a little like I've just haphazard. Sometimes I strategically... See, this is the thing, Steph. I've told you it's higgledy-piggledy, but actually it's very planned out just to look higgledy-piggledy. Because sometimes I take books where I go, you know what, I like the cover of this, and I feel like this would be one of those good books that looks like it's casually strewn on the top. So you've got them all, and then you've sat one just like that. And I just like turn, and then I tweak it a little bit so that it looks like I just kind of tossed it there, like I just finished it, and I'll come back to you later. I didn't. That took 5 hours. So there you go. I don't know how we got into sitting down in showers and the intricacies of our bookshelves, but do you sit down in a shower, and how do you order your books? Let us know on the Discord. Steph, how do you get access to the Discord?
You have to become a patron, and by doing and to do that, you go to patreon.com/backpocket. You can join a whole bunch of different tiers there, get lots of different fun rewards, be part of the Discord community, and support the show so we can keep making more awesome shows and expand our maniacal empire.
There you go. And really, we just need to buy more books. So that's all the money is just going towards more bookshelves. So head to Twitch. You can give us your sub here now, which means you unlock some new emotes. In fact, I saw Gus. Who sent me those emotes? Who sent me that emote thing yesterday?
Yeah, that was Dusk Bunny. I put them in the...
That was Dusk.
Those are
Dusk
wild.
was in chat last night, and she said she'd been working on emotes.
Yeah. Are we adding those in some way?
Yeah, I was waiting for your approval because they're nasty.
Yeah, that hand. Where am I? Was it in the back pocket one?
No.
Okay, because there is so Dusk Bunny in the chat. I mean, that hand is fucked up. You saw these, right, Steph?
No, I haven't seen them. But let me tell you, last night in the chat, I was telling everyone because Dusk played Among Us with the group. And I said I was introducing her as the artist of all the salacious hentai, and she said, "I've been working on these super sweet emotes for you, so stop like trashing me." And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." But now I hear that the emotes are salacious as well.
Okay, so let me, Pete. Is there a way we could show these?
Yeah, not cleanly, but maybe.
It doesn't need to be cleanly. Pete will figure it out. So how dare she? I love Dusk Bunny, but she's acting like she's pious and innocent. These have an edge. But I am a big fan of what they are because and she's in chat right now and she's saying no. And so yes, you drew these. You should take responsibility. But I will say, there is a very nice Scardy one, which is it's just pure.
Oh, that's great. That's great. She did the Scardy hype train as well, which is super cute. We have to figure out how to get that happening.
Oh, that's very nice. I see on screen right now, Liz Dahlia is running Liptember, which is she's doing a charity organization fundraising thing. And
that's for women's mental health.
Yes. And
so you know how there's like Movember in November? For men's mental health.
That's what it
is. This is the women's version, so it's for female mental health, and it's Liptember in September.
And it comes 2 months before Movember, so you go like, that's actually a good move, because it's like, oh, you dump your money into that, and then come Movember, it's like, I don't got any spare money, I gave it all to Liptember.
I believe she's already halfway to her funding goal, so you can help her get all the way to her full goal.
There is a link in the Discord. I can't remember what channel it's in, but I'm sure she'll post it again now that I've said this. Okay, so here's your first emote. Scardy.
Oh, I love that! Oh, look,
that?
look at her little tongue.
Look at that
and
little tongue.
And the thing is, her eyes do look like hearts because she's like always looks at you with pure and unabashed love and joy.
And basically all of it is a heart. Her ears are upside down hearts. The top of the ears are hearts. Her face is a heart. So, but it's funny that you mentioned the tongue because we've got more tongue in this.
Oh, great.
Yeah, can we go straight to tongue? Actually, no, let's go to untongue. So there's a 7 foot. I love it's a clean sever, and not only it's kind of like we snapped the bone off and then we cleaned the like a couple of inches off the top, like we're Gordon Ramsay presenting a lamb shank. But then tongue it, Pete. Bam.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great.
There's Goose's
That's
sweet.
That's
sweet
some
tongue.
saliva. That's some saliva.
Yeah. There's baby rage me snapping a switch in half. I assume, is it me?
It looks like you.
Yeah, thanks. And I have both my feet, huge hands. And then
Huge hands.
You want saliva? Let's take a look at these damp hands.
It's so damp.
It's so gross. My God.
That looks like you would lift it off a surface and there'd be like a bit of a mozzarella stretch of saliva that would happen.
I gave Dusk Bunny grief for this, but if you look too closely at the middle finger, there's something very phallic going on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. That top.
for sure.
I'm so uncomfortable with all this. So, of course, we will add it to the channel. And if you want access to these kinds of emotes, then you need to subscribe to the Twitch. Toss us your Prime sub, and you can get some sweaty, weird penis fingers. Dusk Bunny assures us it was unintentional. We've seen your other work, Dusk Bunny. Oh, no, it is not. They're not on Twitch yet. No. Is it because of partners?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we get partner, we'll add these. But if you go to the Discord, then you'll be able to get access to them right away. But once we get partner, and the way we get partner is we just need to do a few more streams. So that means you'll not only get these awesome emotes, but you'll also get more streams from us. So everybody wins. The final thing we wanted to shout out was the mugs.
Yay!
back
Look how
pocket
cool
mug.
they are.
Right here. So this is the first batch that we ordered a small amount just to make sure these were
I
looking
love that
good.
they're blue on the inside. That's so classy.
It is very classy.
I don't have a nice single, but I've got you full frame, so I can show you.
Mug. Oh, too close. Keep it in focus, Nick. Remember your training. So
That's nice.
at the moment, these the ones we've got here are we're using them here. We've got some more designs in mind that we want to do. We need to figure out, and then we're also going to send these out to the people who've won competitions and stuff. But we need to figure out what system is going to be best to be able to most efficiently get merch to you guys, because we've got a ton of awesome merch ideas, but we need to figure out like how to best ship and the purchase process of what that is.
Yeah, because us shipping them out to you is not realistic.
It's just not- it's-
We don't have room in the office for lots of like product stock.
And just like we don't have like, yeah, there's just, I don't want to be spending a quarter of every day just addressing boxes. So yeah, we will figure that out. And when we do, we will let you know.
It'd be cool to be able to do like special edition limited run ones as well.
Well, Gus did spoil it already. Is that mug here?
Yeah.
Should we show? I reckon we should. So we did
Let's
a limited
show.
edition one already for the mods to say thank you for all their hard work of being able to whip the Discord into shape and keep everybody in line. All the
Yay.
degenerates watching right now. Someone said heat change mug, like the Doug mug. Remember the Doug mugs?
I feel like those are great, but I feel like the problem with heat change mugs is they don't have great longevity.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like they heat change and then they hit a point where they just can't do that anymore. And I would hate to submit a product that doesn't last until you break it.
Because at that point, or you just end up with a black mug.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the mugs that we're sending out to the mods. So on this side, it says mod-like. And then you turn it around this side, and that is a custom mod Pocky on fire with the flames of power gone to their heads in a Discord channel.
I love that. They're like the guardian spirits of all Back Pocket.
Totally. So we'll be sending those out to the mods to say thank you very much for all their hard work. And yeah, we'll show you some more designs for some future merch later once we figure out exactly that pipeline. But we are doing it and we are excited. And then the last thing I will mention is that we are also spending a bit of today starting to shoot some of the commercials for the Top Stitched tier. So we are cracking on with that today. We've carved out the time and we are excited to be able to get those underway. Whew, there we go. We're done with the news, Steph. We did it.
Cool. That was awesome. I'm excited.
What are you doing for the rest of the day?
This is super boring. I have a woman coming to give me a quote on roller blinds for my windows. So that's happening.
Pete's very excited.
Because I have this window here that had those floppy, like the vertical blinds that get tangled and really moldy, and it was really gross. And because this window is now, I'm planning to have this window on camera regularly. I just want a nice covering.
Yep.
And then I have a Zoom meeting with one of my partners. So that's happening today.
Pete wants to clarify sponsor partner, not lover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because you definitely were like, so I'm organizing an orgy. Good. Despite what you said about the roller blinds, everyone is very excited about those blinds in the chat. So keep us updated.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'll send you pictures.
Yeah, so we know that
as long as they're not too expensive. And if they are too expensive, then I just will have to get burned by the sun when it comes through the window every day.
Yeah, if they're too expensive, you'll just sit in the shower tonight and weep. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for hanging out for the Somewhat Daily Backup. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for Back Pocket Tonight on Thursday nights. We are looking forward to seeing you then. Until then, we are out. Back out. Oh, this one's hard to bend backwards on. Oh, God. It's all gone wrong.